Hi, everyone. Welcome back. And I know it's Monday, but you know what? Last week, the show was so long and we have so much information that we decided to do the analysis after. How you doing? My name is Susan Ibitz. I'm a human behavior hacker. Some people hack computers. I hack humans and I have fun doing it. Elba, welcome back.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Elba Uribe. I'm a human behavior hacker too, and I'm the CEO of Latin America.
So last week, we analyzed the interviews that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard team did on the media. And what we talk about is when we talk about the media perception, what you read on Twitter, what you read on YouTube is not always what happened when you put the head on the pillow. So instead to go to what the media says, that I'm not saying that it's not important, we decide to go to the science because science is sexy. We talk about today about the influencers, the first followers, why when we assign a label to someone to be guilty, automatically the other person is assigned the opposite label, in this case, innocent. Why how you say, where you say it. When you're vulnerable, people like you more. But I don't want to waste any more time because we have so much information. So what about if we go in first, Elba, and where are the moments that people feel more curious when ELAINE and CAMILLE were to the NBC interview? Like always, thank you very much to our partners with Emotion Trac to bring the science to you. So this is the first interview. This is ELAINE. And the things that we measure here has to do with the curiosity. So in order to make this report, this analysis most concrete, we're going to go to the peaks. This line that you see here is the level of curiosity measured based on all the people that is being analyzed. Only to let you know that we analyze on demographic. In this one, we use 59 people to do the response. So you want to know what are the moments when people feel more curious to know what is going on with the interview. Let's go with the first one. First point of curiosity, it was around 6 seconds, and let's hear what they say.
First question, how is Amber doing? We saw her hearing that verdict. It took a long time to read. It was a sweeping verdict for Johnny Depp. How did...
So the first thing the interviewer says is how Amber Heard feel. So how is she doing? So people was curious, like, when we talk about curiosity, it's things that draw your attention. And it was when she was asking about Amber, what do you think? Because after that peak, they went down. People lost interest.
Yeah, because they want to know how she was doing, because it's crazy. When you want to know something, it's like you did the body language, you did this. So it's when we want to know what's happening there. And so that's why I think people get so much attention, because they want to know how was doing Amber in that time.
Let's see how follow here.
Did she handle it?
You know, one of the first things she said is, I am so sorry to all those women out there.
Whoa. Did you saw that? The answer is try curiosity, but I would say half of the plateau than when the question was done. So I'm so sorry for these women, for those women or these women, those and this, they have a different, but we're not going to be analyzing the language because everybody have done the body language micro expression. This is fresh on the market. Nobody else is doing this.
This is science. This is what things are really happening. It's not what we say, it's what the data it's telling us.
Okay, let's go back from the question. This is the only time that people hit curiosity regarding this.
The first thing she said is, I am so sorry to all those women out there. This is a setback. The first thing she said is, I am so sorry to all those women out there.
Okay. People was curious, but not curious enough to follow through.
No.
Any comment on that, Elba?
No, I think people, it's like, okay, they went curious, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, we already know what's going on there with those women.
And by the way, for the relationship that we have with Amber on the media that we have been seeing, are you really think that is the first thing that she says?
I don't think so.
I smell BS. By the way, guys, we're going to be analyzing Amber Heard reaction on the media this week because we have, again, a lot of information. Which one you going to go for? What other pick you going to go? We have the control of the information. So.
Oh yeah, that's the good thing. We have, okay, people, we have all the data and the facts. We are in control. You see? I like that.
Information is power, and we are more than willing to share with you. It's not that we have power over you, we have power over what really is happening. Actually, we have a lot of fun during the trial analyzing the data all the time, and we our interview with Negotiation Ninja went out and says, Susan, how you guys knew that she's going to lose? It's not for what the media says, it's because we've been analyzing the data behind the scene. You want to see this peak and then this
Yes,
peak, I think.
I want to see that one. You know me. They're the most high, the highest one. So
okay, let's start here when apparently is going from low. I want to see the low. What was the low one? And see how escalate.
We had significant amount of texts, including from Mr. Depp's assistants, saying, when I told him he kicked you, he cried. He is so sorry. That didn't come in.
Is there any other way to interpret this verdict, though, that this jury, for whatever reason, and I hear you on some of the evidence that they didn't hear, listening to Amber Heard, did not believe a single word?
You know, and that's because she...
We're talking about credibility, how credible she was on the media. And we're going to talk about, we're going to show the charts between ELAINE and CAMILLE, and how people based on gender, they believe, they trust, they get attention, and they believe what you're saying. Remember, we are not analyzing Johnny and Amber in these metrics. We're analyzing the lawyers being represent the cases on the media. So when we start talking about data, people get the peak, but when she says, oh, when the assistant showed the text that he hit her, he cried. People didn't get curious about that. They already hear about that. Let's hear it again.
For example, we had significant amount of texts, including from Mr. Depp's assistants, saying, when I told him he kicked you, he cried. He is so sorry. That didn't come in.
Is there any other way to interpret this verdict, though, that this jury, for whatever reason, and I hear you on some of the evidence that they didn't hear, listening to Amber Heard, did not believe a single word?
You know, and that's because she was demonized here. A number of things were allowed in this court that should not have been allowed, and it caused the jury to be confused.
It's funny that when she talked about the jury to be confused, they didn't spark any curiosity on the audience that we were metric on this part. What do you think? They don't buy that the jury was influenced.
No, and you see when she's talking about that, she's talking about the verdict, how the things go low. People, they don't want to change the verdict. They are right with that. But they feel curiosity when she asking about how is the I forget the word.
Oh, if the other way to read this verdict.
Yes, that's, yeah.
Yeah, me too, I'm burned out. But guys, we're doing this because you asked for it, but not because we don't have another information to be showing. We are burned out with this trial. We just wanted to finish. We want to be June 24th so we can get over. But the truth to be told, I don't think we're going to get over.
No, I don't think so either. This is going to be like, a lot of time.
But one of the things that I love about data, even though even though if for any reason you don't understand charge, this is done in such a simple way. Remember, This is people who are evaluating. They're evaluating their micro expression. They're evaluating their reactions. You can fake until one point, but not too much to beat the system. Again, science is better than reading Twitter.
I agree with you.
Okay. Yeah, honey, that's the reason we are in this company, because we are data nerds. Okay, let's go to the next pick.
And it caused the jury to be confused. We weren't allowed to tell them about the UK judgment. So the damages is completely skewed. There are no damages. It stopped at November 2, 2020, which is when the judgment came down in the UK.
Let me ask you.
It's about the UK case. Okay, let's talk about the UK case for a second, and let's stop sharing. On the UK case, she wasn't the person involved on the trial. She was a witness. And actually, when she find out that she's going to be a witness, that is Johnny Depp against the Sun, she was asked to be testifying as a witness. She asked and required to be during the trial all the time. She was listening to what everybody says. Now, when you have a trial, the reason that you don't have a witness listening to what other witness says is not to be influenced to change your testimony. She changed her testimony in UK all the time because she was listening to what other people says. So by the time that she need to be testifying, she knew everything, and that's how she redid the story. And I think her witnesses construct the story based on that too. What do you think?
I agree with you. And it's funny because, and I agree with that part, because you don't need to listen everyone. You need to stick with your testimony, and that's how she can build things, and that's how she get confused, because it's not about what her experience. It was about constructing her experience from the other people was talking.
Yeah, that's the reason it's so dangerous. But in the other way, if you want to unify your witnesses, you need to prep them together to make sure that you have a coherence. That's the reason trial science law, it's so important when you're prepping people. You need to get the data, like you evaluate how people is perceived on a testimony. You prep the person and you get the data again and how people now perceive the witness based on before and after. So what you do is you put the video, the before, and you put the video after, and people can tell you how much they trust the person and how much they evolve on the trust of the person. Again, science. Now, you want to see, it's not a lot what ELAINE get the peak attention. Let's see, Camille. We have the curiosity index, and now we can see the spikes are going all over the place to different that ELAINE. ELAINE did spark a lot of curiosity among the people that she was around. Let's see, and I think I can do this a little better. Okay, which one you want to start? This one or the second pick?
The second one.
Okay, let's go for the low.
From the low to the big.
It's like I can read your mind. It's not funny anymore.
Whether there is a larger resonance to this trial, whether it sends a message. Do you see any larger message beyond the case you tried?
No. I mean, frankly, we don't. We're here to talk about the case that we tried, right? We encourage all victims to come forward, have their day in court, which is exactly what happened in this case.
Amber Heard's attorney was right here the day after the verdict, and she said the jury had not been permitted to see certain evidence that would have bolstered and verified Amber Heard's claims of abuse, in particular therapist notes. What is your response to that? And was there evidence that was suppressed for a...
It's funny. People don't want to hear any more evidence. They want the juicy, PC part. They want bread and circus.
They want the things that make sense, the things that are really like important here. Not about, again, the evidence and the thousand of evidence and things. They want to know the exactly things.
Yeah, it was a strike to me. They don't, when they talk about evidence, I don't care about the evidence. The trial is done.
Saw it. So, the trial is done. We already saw it. Just give me the juicy things.
Yeah, it's weird. You see, it's not what everybody says on the media. Now, let's go to the next pick.
Disappointing to hear that and to hear
It's
her
Ben.
impugn the character of the jury, and the evidence came in that should come in, and the judge was very fair to both sides.
I should mention the jury did find Mr. Depp responsible for defamation for one of the statements made by his lawyer. It accused her essentially of staging a scene in furtherance of an abuse hoax. How do you square that finding with the rest of the verdict, Camille?
I think it's just the verdict is overwhelmingly positive for Johnny, and it was unanimous. There were 7.
She didn't answer the question.
No, she didn't answer the question. So that's why she didn't draw too much attention in that, because she didn't answer.
No. So again, I do understand there are really well-seasoned lawyers, even though Camille is the youngest on the team. She's well-seasoned. She proved and showed that she can do it. But avoiding questions when you're on the media, why you went to the media? You didn't need to go to the media. Neither of them need to go to the media.
No.
I would say if anybody needs to justify to the media, it will be Elaine. But the truth to be told, Johnny Depp team didn't need to. Again, if your opponent have a temper, provoke them and do not reply. I think not going to the media to talk about this trial wouldn't have been more effective to drive them crazy and let them put their foot in their mouth. Remember, like we talked with Dave Oates last week, this is not over. We don't know if they're going to be injunctions. We don't know if they're going to try to file again. We don't know if they're going to agree. They are in the middle of negotiations to see if Amber can or should pay the amount, or Johnny is going to give her a free pass. If instead to pay to Johnny, she need to complete the pledge, not the donation, they never happen. So until it's not done, it's not done. People, June 24 is the day that is going to be decided. These people on the case, I would say more on the Amber Heard case, they're talking, and when we talk about the interview on the end of this week, is she keeps saying that he's guilty. She needs to be really careful what she's saying. Right. And we're going to talk about the metrics. We're going to talk about the audience and Dateline. We it was Dateline. I forgot the name of the show. I have my notes. Anyway, the exclusive interview that was edited was one of the lowest ratings on the show, and that the fact that you still an open case. You keep saying that he's an abuser, he's a wife beater. This is not done. You're negotiating. Keep it sharp. Keep it shut. Do not talk. Do not provoke. You have time after this is sealed to go in the media and trying to rebuild your persona. And by the way, Dave Oates say it too. If you think the rebuilding the image in both sides is going to happen instantaneously, Johnny have damage, Amber have damage, and both win and lose. Apparently, Amber is being recast for Aquaman. She wasn't kicked out of the cast. And apparently, it was a rumor about he come back to be Jack Sparrow, but haven't signed yet. So we don't know what is really going to happen. And we're going to talk that. Do you know that Savage 2, the Dior perfume, is being sold out? Yes. Remember when we talked about that I was walking through Macy's and I saw all the new posters?
Yeah. And we got in because we need to see if they have the thing there. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that's the week that you were here, and we went together to Macy's to see, and there were the flyers all over the place in Macy's, but not on the window. Initially, they had it on the window, and after that, they moved it internally, but they were promoting and using the fragor of the media. Anyway, which other pig you want to see? I'm interested in this one. There was like down.
Go too low and then goes up.
Okay, let's go for the. Yeah. Okay, let's hear it all. Let's go for it.
That decided he was defamed.
As you well know, the law does not favor a plaintiff like Johnny Depp in a defamation case like this. The burden is very high, the threshold is high, and he crossed it. Frankly speaking, were you stunned at this victory? Ben?
Well, we
People wasn't curious about if they were stunned or surprised.
No.
Thoughts?
had ultimate confidence in Johnny and the jury and the facts of this case, and you can only hope that the jury will see it. And in this case, they did, and the verdict was overwhelmingly.
Again,
Again,
people don't care.
No, they don't care about it. It's done for them. So they don't need to know again what was the verdict. So yeah, I agree.
People want more blood and they want more information, the things that they didn't see. And I do understand how professionally they keep it. But people is not watching this interview to hear the same thing they already says, they already did. Every time that somebody threw a rock to see if they catch it, they let it go. Professionally, great. For media selling, no.
No.
Keep your case in the court. You don't need to go to the
media. I
media.
hear the same.
Okay, let's see where the peak go down and how they recover.
In his favor.
We ask you, did you speak to your client right after the verdict? What was his reaction in the moment?
I think just an overwhelming sense of relief. I was speaking with another friend of ours, a mutual friend of Johnny's and ours, and he said, I haven't.
It didn't work.
No, they don't care about who you talk about to. They want to know what happened between you and Johnny Depp and what the reaction and everything. Yeah.
What happened here and how they recover? Let's take a look.
Yes.
I wish it was live so you can tell us if you want to take a look.
Judgment. As we all know, Johnny Depp sued The Sun, a newspaper in the United Kingdom. He lost that case, the judge finding that claims by the newspaper that he was a wife beater were substantially true. Now, Amber Heard's lawyers say that judgment should have come into this court case. What say you?
Was a different process, right? And also Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard in this case were the parties. They had different disclosure obligations. So we disagree. The overwhelming evidence that was presented in this case in Virginia far exceeded what was presented in the UK, and we believe the jury got it right.
Okay, there's something here that gets my curiosity. Guys, try to close your eyes. If I could too, I have something inside my eye that is driving me crazy. And listen to her voice when she's talking about the evidence. You caught it too, no? Okay, close your eyes and let's go with us.
Case. What say you?
Was a different process, right? And also Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard in this case were the parties. They had different disclosure obligations. So we disagree. The overwhelming evidence that was presented in this case in Virginia far exceeded what was presented in the UK, and we believe the jury got it right.
Okay, listen again.
Process, right? And also Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard in this case were the parties. They had different disclosure obligations. So we disagree. The overwhelming evidence that was presented in this case in Virginia far exceeded what was presented in the UK, and we believe that
she doubted.
Yeah, she doubted. She squinted her eyes.
She squinted her eyes, and the tone of the voice.
It changed.
It changed completely. So again, I wish that you were with us live today because it's a lot of information, but I think that guys give you an understanding approach that how dangerous is to believe what everybody says out there. Now, we have 2 more slides that we didn't have time to go through last week and how men and women perceive Camille and Elaine. You want to see the data?
Yes, I want to see it.
Profiling a customer is the challenge sales reps face every day. What if I tell you you can read anyone in 90 seconds? What if I tell you it can be done? Come to learn with us, Human Behavior Hacker School.
Okay, this is the data that we collected regarding and how men perceive Camille and they perceive Elaine. Elaine is the brown, Camille is the blue. Only 60% of the men trust Camille, when 81% of the men trust Elaine. Attention. 60% of the men got their attention caught. And we're talking about that Camille is the sexy young lawyer that everybody's fantasizing. But even though all those benefits that maybe she has as a woman, there wasn't enough to get attention. When Elaine get more attention from men, I think that knowledge, maybe some people, I actually hear some comments and people says, oh, Camille got lucky, it was the first time, but Elaine have a long story about who she is and how many years she have on the trial in the law. And when we talk about who believe him more, people, men, not people, men believe believe Elaine more than believe Camille. We're talking about true and believe. The percentage are the highest, and true is almost 16% higher, and believe is 10-11% higher. And Elaine, and everybody says, oh, I hate Elaine, we love Camille.
And you see, this is why I get amazed, because you can see when you have the data, it's not what people is saying out there. It's what they're really happening inside the mind of the people. Because here you can, with this data, we can see like, okay, everyone thought like, okay, Camille is the best of the best. And she's good. Yeah, she's good. But it's not the perception. It's not the reality of what is happening.
And we're going to talk about the first follower on the media, and we're going to talk about how people can be manipulated with the memories and their feelings. Again, it's a lot of data and studies, and we're going to talk about why certain studies, they need to be replicated in real life. And again, neither of us have a PhD or master. Well, you almost have, I don't. But
I don't have.
why sometimes I prefer to go street smart and street testing the goal and the control of the lab. Do you want to know how women think about this too?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and I messed it up. Give me click. I hope I'm recording this on the right way. Here we go. So, truth, attention, and how much they believe it. The only score, I would say, is only 3 points ahead from Camille. Again, everybody says that everyone loved Camille and nobody liked Elaine. When we talk about talking of the truth and saying the truth on this interview, we're talking about the interview. They can be influenced with what they saw on the court, maybe, but that make it way more weird results regarding this. Truth. 84% of the women believe Camille, only 3% on top, meaning 84 against 81. Attention. Not only is the different attention is only 2 points, is how low the attention was between women. So suppose that you have people to understand how you gather in data, how you use it. And again, thank you very much for Emotion Trac for doing an amazing job like you always guys does. It's amazing. It's so refreshing to work with a company who work with the data, they gather the data and put it out there. I cannot wait to guys show you more and more of the things that can be possible when you have the right company to work with. So attention, 50%, meaning that every 10 women, 5 only get attention in either of them. Now, people can be tired. It's been a long process. We're supposed to finish after 7 weeks, no more, and this keep following. I do think that this is telling us you need to stop. It's done. People don't want to hear this anymore. But in the other hand, people is asking for it. Weird, but at the end, do you caught the attention of people? How much you caught their attention?
You are putting the things that people want to know out there, or you are still talking about the trial, the verdict, and things like that people they already know.
And the most scary part is how much women believe both. Women believe Camille only 1 point over Elaine. So when people says, we're going to leave this 2 more seconds, you need to understand, when do you think that Elaine is the most hated woman out there?
No, use data. Use the data.
So again, I do believe that it's great to have all the YouTube influencers and everybody who's talking out there, but at the end of the day, when you put your head on the pillows, and the pillow is when really matter. The words you use, how to use it, and on the next part of this show, we're gonna tell you about how to be more likable, how the first follower worked, what was important, who was the first person who says, I do believe that Johnny is innocent, and how this windfall of information happened. So what are your thoughts regarding the data? It's scary. I remember when we saw it for the first time, like,
Yes, it's like like we call the show, it's the things like persuasion, reality, and science. They're different. So it's really important to you have your own opinion. You can follow whatever you want to follow, but you need to put the things under the table and to see what is your opinion. What do you think about things? Not because people are saying, yeah, she's the best, but at the end of the day, she is the best. So yeah, pay attention.
Yeah. So I would think that overall, what is this telling us? Like, neither of them, neither Camille or Elaine, were trust, believe, or get attention. But the attention that they got in women, they're supposed to be, these two women defending a woman. Let me tell you what happened. One of the reasons that Camille in private is not liked by women is because she was going against another woman. She was destroying what we know as the Me Too movement. After vote and anti-conception, where women can control how many times they got pregnant and they have control over their body, the Me Too movement was one of the movements more near to the heart for women. And one of the things that I do not agree since the beginning with the Me Too movement is not about gender. It's about the violence any gender can suffer. What this trial brings to the table is that now, no matter if you're a woman or if you're a man, if you suffer for any kind of violence, you need to speak out. Instead, to get the movement down, I think the movement has been reinforced. So if you're a victim of any kind of abuse, mental, physical, or psychological, you need to speak out. Now, what happened from all the BS that really I like tired of it, I think is positive, is now we take this from gender and we put it to humanity. So if you are a victim of any kind of violence, look for help, speak out. Now you have a new platform to talk. Do not believe there was go back because what happened. But I do know a couple of women that I talk and says, I don't like Camille because how she can be attacking another woman, how she do the cross-examination the way they did. Amber is right. Like, wait a minute, look for the information. And what happened now is a love-hate relationship with Camille. And they have this like grandmother content that they have with Elaine.
Yeah, I agree with you. See?
And we talk about that like, yeah, we should have been talk about that before. Huge mistake. Now, let's go to the second part of the show and explain how the things and how manipulated you can be, even without knowing that you can be manipulated. Elva and I, we love this study and we show it a lot when we present it with lawyers, and how you present the data and the words you use can minimize or they can kill a case. Remember when we talk about pledge and donation and why the first thing that in cross-examination, Camille attacked, because it was like a vicious attack, really well done. Perfectly well done, but it was a completely attack to Amber to make the identification between pledge and donation. And that was the moment where the sign of guilty was assigned to Amber Heard, making Johnny completely innocent. When you have two determinations to make, guilty or innocent, innocent or guilty, as soon as you put one of them, in this case, intelligently well done by a deep case, the deep team, is putting Amber not to be trusted, not to be believed, and being a person who is lying. When this happened, and actually the juror who was talking on the media says, well, as soon as we know that she lied about pledging against donation, we didn't trust her. Automatically, she become guilty. So what is this charge mean? Elizabeth Lotfoot in 1974 did a study to determine how we believe someone and how we can influence a juror, or we can influence the state of mind of someone based on the words we use. So this is our couple of witnesses who were asked, how fast was the car when it was smashed, collide, bump, hit, or contact? Why is the difference? Contact is not an accident, but a smash is destroyed. If I says, I smash my car, close your eyes and think how much damage my car have.
I think it's not going to work your car anymore.
I need to get a new car, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if I says, I get contacted or contact or hit another car, and like, is any damage?
You're just going to paint and that's it.
But the reality is the same way these words were used. On the trial, they were used on the media, and as soon as we says guilty, everybody think that Johnny Depp is not guilty, is innocent. We assign to the first person the title. Again, the power of the words. Any outcome in this?
No. Let's go to the next one because I have something.
Okay, another thing is one of the reasons we don't believe and we don't do mock trials without science is because you have an alpha. So as soon as someone you trust and you believe assign any of the labels either to Johnny or either to Amber, everybody start following. Why? Because we're going to talk about the first follower and how is important. Jury influence, if you want to read about the Elizabeth Lotfoot and Palmer study, is from 1974. Guess what? It's one of the studies that never has been through to the trash. Now, when we're talking studies, and while we are like, okay, some studies I do not believe if they do not take it to the real life. What are the parameters? And we talked with Shelley last Friday. What are the parameters when you have studies done in university? You have credit, you have meals, they take you in and out from where you're staying. They give you credit from your career and you can say you were part. So when you fed someone, you give them a warm meal and a warm liquid beverage, how much you already are influencing that person to the outcome of the study. And we have studies done regarding jury selection, how the witness need to be present and how you need to tell your story, that when we take the studies, again, we don't have any PhD, we don't have any of those things. We take it out of the university and we put it on the real life, didn't work. Actually, remember the study we did with the reading people with masks? We come up with the same result. An academic study come up 2 years early. Due to all the conflict when you do a study in the university, and I don't say it's wrong, it's a good point of encounter to start, but at some point you need to take those studies to the street and see how they work. So when you says, oh, everybody says, wait a minute, who is everybody? Where I've been testing, what happened with the street smart study and validation of what happened.
Yes, I agree with you. And there's a point there. I think you don't need to generalize things before you are saying something. You need to see, like the study, for example, how many people you have there, where they did the study, or the things that you want to prove. So yeah, I agree with you.
So the study about the 93% of your communication is body language and nonverbals. What happened when you're training somebody to negotiate on the phone?
You cannot see them.
When Meridian did the study in the 79, 71, it was a group of friends, never was a real published study, never was replicated, never was proven. So everybody who knows and understands what we do, when you says 93% of your communication is body language, this is time out. Where are you learning from? Cosmopolitan?
Yes.
Nothing wrong. I love to see the pictures in Cosmopolitan, but it's not my source of learning.
Me neither. I agree.
Anything else regarding this, my love?
Nope. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, you had COVID last week, but I'm tired this Monday.
Yeah,
Oh, it's on Monday. Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, not me. I need to sleep. I went for my walk this morning, 5:30 in the morning, like, but this time I'm gonna go so much to sleep. Okay, our newsletter. And guess what? We have 4 things that we can talk about in our newsletter, and it's coming up this week. We have 2 beta classes that we're going to be launching in July and August. So if you register from the newsletter, beside that you receive how to spot a narcissist, the class completely for free. You says, how can I help you webinar? That the last webinar was lovely. I really liked the webinar. People did amazing questions. I like it. You're going to receive icebreaker. Either are all videos that we have done about tips, how you can use it and where you can use it. Really weird things that we find on the internet that we like. But the most important thing that we're going to have in the next 2 months is going to be part of the beta programs we launch.
Yes.
We are launching 2 programs, one in the middle of the July and the other one when it's going to be in August. But the one in August, guess what? We're going to record live that training, and you have the chance to apply to be part of the class, meaning that you're going to receive at least 6 units of the program completely for free. So register to our newsletter, and besides receiving everything, we're going to start raffling people, I think, around July 15. We have a huge database, so don't miss that opportunity. But most of the people do it because they want to have how to spot a narcissist and face reading, a study done based on the IG Nobel Prize, and how you can determine if a person is narcissist and how narcissist based on the tangle of the hair. So the first followers, you want to explain the theory, or we're going to explain the theory, because I think this is fascinating. And this is a way to explain you guys why and how, when somebody assign a title to someone, everybody who follows is who determine what things are going on. If you don't like, it's, to put it simple, if outside the core settings, when you go to Amazon to buy something, you're going to go with the one who have 500 reviews. What do you think people put video testimonials? It's not because they're not true. It's because you want to go with other people goes. And in the meantime that we put the video, what about if we start, this is all yours. Again, I'm too tired. So this is all yours.
Okay, you see, and I don't know, but I
love this video.
Me too, because you can see him like doing, like, he's dancing and everything, and probably you can see him like, oh, he's doing like some ridiculous dancing, he's crazy. But there's something important there. You can see that's the first follower. You see, he's dancing with him. He believes in what he's doing, so he start doing imitate things. So it's crazy. There's 2 ridiculous people dancing, and people can see like, oh yeah, they're crazy.
So do you think that everybody else will follow because 2 crazy people are dancing? Well, let me show you what happened here. Nobody stand Because if everybody's eating this, if everybody's dancing, if everybody's doing it, I need to do it too.
Why? Because if I'm not doing it, I'm going to be the ridiculous one of not doing what everyone is doing.
Things are turned. It was initially one person when they have the first follower. Now everybody's following the first follower, and the one who's not following is going to be the outcaster, the outsider. So how the media work, how this situation works, is everybody believe this is true. I'm going to believe it's true. Now, how independent do you think your thoughts are when you have someone who have 1 million followers in YouTube, and this person says this is BS, and they have 1 million followers? You're going to start thinking that is the truth. I do not believe in the amount of people who following you.
No,
is the quality of people who follow you. I would say 50% of the people who follow us are our students, people that we don't have in a network, people that we build relationships. Between having 1 million of views and 1 million of followers, and we have the one that we have, I'm happy with that.
Me too.
Why? Because we know everybody by name, we know who they are. They start as an audience, they become students, and then we become friends. So that is the relationship. So be really careful with the 1 million followers and thinking, remember, it was Adriana Grande, the one who had 3 million followers and she couldn't sell 36 t-shirts. It was Adriana Grande.
I think it was a girl. But
yeah. I don't remember the name of the influencers, but she had 2 or 3 million followers, and a t-shirt company says, okay, what about if you sell 36 or 38 t-shirts to see how much your followers are following you? Guess what? She didn't sell one in a month. One. She didn't sell one in a month. What happened that? Do not believe everything going on out there.
Oh yeah. And it's crazy because you need to be aware of that. You need to be like, okay, what I am following, because you are following it because you like it or because everyone is doing it.
Who you are falling for and who you are following to. Be careful. And talking about following, if you think that we know what we're talking about, and if we don't know, at least make the merit to bring people who know more than us, because we don't have all the answers. The difference is we make the effort to bring people who have the answers. We go into the science, we explore, we experiment, we bring it to you, put like and share. And if you don't like it, make your comment. The only thing to keep your comments, even though if you don't agree, be respectful from the guests that we bring and be respectful from us. In my case, I'm 50. I started doing this when I was 17. I have many, many miles under my password, what I'm doing. Most people says, oh, I read Paul Ekman. I started with Paul Ekman International, no once,
twice,
more than once. I moved to Europe. I moved to the UK to study with Paul Ekman. I study with everybody in this field. So we know what we do. We know what we're talking about. We are not going to the media too much. We are not on the followers, but we are on the quality of comments and the quality of people who follow us. So if you think that you can get any benefit for what we do, we will love for you to like and share. How? You can go to Susan Ibitz at Human Behavior Lab, and you can see Elva and myself. This is going to be an atypical week, has been a kind of different kind of week for all this situation, but due to the show on Friday was too long, and I know you have a lot of information to review that you're going to see showing all up on the video. Go for it. And I don't know if we're going to have all the data for Wednesday, but maybe for Friday, but we try to go back to the normal time. Now, the Milgram experiments, if I'm not mistaken, happened in 1962. Milgram was the son of a Jewish immigrant. And when he was seeing the trial, and one of the people who was part of Auschwitz, he says, I was following orders. And Milgram was in shock that how somebody can be following orders when somebody else is telling you to kill people. Not when like, okay, get the ice cream and you don't do it, or both for certain person, but like how people can be following. And again, remember that we start talking about the first follower, and we talk about how media and the perception. Today is a show about perception, and it's a show about how people perceive and can be manipulated in either conscious or unconsciously. We start with what do you think about Elaine and Camille and what really data is showing you. And now we're showing you the studies that we trust, that we have replicated, that we know will work. So he decided to go for it. And this, believe it or not, this is one of the experiments or lab tests more replicated during the years with the same outcome. Elva, you want to tell us what it is? I'm really tired today. My brain, I don't know, my two sides of the brain are in bed still, and I cannot wake them up.
Okay, okay. When we talk about the milligram experiment, they want to know how humans have the willingness to obey the authority figures. How? Okay, they have a teacher and they have a student. They told to the teacher was the person like the people that is going to test, and the student is a fake one that they need to put some
stun every time they say something wrong. So supposedly we have Elva and I. I'm an actor. Elva is a real person, and I think is the most accurate, the more real person. So I get in a room, and Elva is asking me questions. Every time that I say something wrong,
the words. If you get one word that is not the one that I said, I need to give her a shock with 15 volts. That's the start. That's the point to start. So I need to keep telling, for example.
You wish you can do that. You wish.
No. For example, I need to tell you, Susan, fish, octopus, sea. And she needs to memorize the words and telling me the exactly order that I tell her, so I can see how she can memorize the words. If she mistakes just one, I need to start with 15 volts, and that's the scale, because they get to 44,050 volts.
Guess what? The majority went through every time they told them, keep going, go forward. And guess what? Women and men did it on the same. They use engineer, they use lame people, they use professional and white collar, red collar, whatever color you want to call it, they use people.
I have one thing here. How, what do you think it was the percentage of people making the 450 volts?
It was around 80%, no?
65.
Okay, you see, you need to go to the data. But there are, and one of the, I'm trying to remember which, okay, now pointy eyebrows, I'm not going to sleep until I find which country they replicated. There were over 80% of people going to the maximum. But in the milligram experiment here in the United States was only 65.
Yeah.
Only?
But only, and they get to 250 volts to the maximum. They keep going. Even though they hear the student screaming.
So this happened in reality, and this is one of the experiments who has been replicated the most. To me, is fascinating, because guess what? This was in 1962. It's still happening. What is still happening is we are open for application. The program become application only. We have a lot of people registered. They are not ready to take the class, so we move the program to application only. It's going to be 6 months of classes, 2 years of coaching, 2 times a month coaching, every Friday homework. And now we move to start doing homework and the pictures of your family and your clients to help you to move forward. The students are go ballistic. We already have 4 students who open their own LLC. They're going to start doing face reading profiling professionally. To me, is one of the best programs that we have developed as face readers. Is complete, and the best part, you have support. And all the coaching classes, if for any reason you cannot participate, you send the questions, we record the classes, and we record the audio, so you can be walking, listening to the class. So application only is this program. Go below and you can have half an hour, either with Elba, myself, or in either of us to apply. Why they did obey? What the people obey to the what they considering to be the authority, the white coat. So when you are stopped by the police, by the way, guess what? The day I was driving Elva to the airport, the police stopped me.
Oh my God.
Elva and I, we were driving 3 o'clock in the morning, really tired, having like 4 coffees to not fall asleep. And I didn't saw the police car. And I stopped to let him go. And he says, pull over. I'm like, we need to pull over what we have done. He was following us for, I don't know, how many blocks. And he says, oh, you're Susan. You're the one who was teaching us the class. I'm like, yeah, why you stop it? You didn't see that we were following you? No, look on the back. And there were like 5 police cars were following because they told us that we were on, what he says, we are on the run. So I says, how you have been drinking? Like, no, we need to go to the airport. Look on the backs. Long story short, I sent my car to the service and they moved the automatic lighting. And because I don't drive at night where I live, you don't go anywhere at night. They stopped us. The light wasn't on. I didn't see the police car. But as soon as I saw the police, the point is, unconsciously, I moved to the side to let them go. I never realized they were against us. I almost lose the flight because it's the first time in my life, I was stopped by the police. Why I stopped? Because I see a patrol car with the light and says, pull over. I didn't question why. We turned the light. I says, Elba, shut up, don't say anything. Put the hands where everybody can see it. I put the lights and says, sir, can I grab my wallet? He knows me. I train him. I train all the police department in this area. But the point is, I didn't conflict with what was his rank. So when you have someone like an expert, they know what they're talking about, you follow those things. That is why it's so important that when you don't know a topic, you need to bring an expert. That's what we do in most of our shows. We bring an expert to talk about things that other people talking because they read it on the media, but we bring people who knows what they're doing. So when you have an expert talking about something, when somebody else is talking about you, it's more believable. They're gonna obey to what they're saying. If I'm saying I'm the best, nobody's gonna believe me. But if somebody can say it, people is gonna believe you. So why did they obey? Simple as someone wearing a white coat who never show qualifications, who never show the diploma, who never present themselves as the doctor, but the person conducting the experiment, they follow through. Elba?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's crazy because when you see the white coat, you don't ask, you are a doctor, you follow things because you see the signals. So and that's with everything, with the police, with what people are saying out there. If someone else is like the
government.
Yeah.
So when everybody says this is guilty, this is innocent, the expert says that is the diagnostic, you do not confront those findings.
You don't question. You don't question that. And that's why you remember, Susan, that when we talk, we always say to people that you need to give them 3 options, not 2, because that's when the brain starts fighting.
The decoy effect.
Yes, that's the same. They are saying that she is guilty. Okay, the other option is he is not guilty. So yeah.
And the third options, I don't believe either of them. But on the jury in a trial, you don't have those options.
Nope.
But the option you have is to tell us, where are you coming from? We love where you are, where you're coming from. I know that we have been really slow with this, but a lot is happening. But we love to know where you are, where you're coming from. We always like to know where are the audience. And it's crazy. Most of the people who watch us are from Europe.
Yeah. And the
I
time that
was,
they watches is crazy too.
hey, you're my coffee morning, or you are
Uh-huh.
my binge, my binge pleasure on Friday nights. Guys, we love you for that. We do this because we love what we do and we like to share with you. But we're gonna be two crazy chicks talking to the air. Instead, we become a show that people watch. So thank you very much. Now, a lot of people do not know about the study done in 1966. And somebody else commenting that somebody else mentioned it. So we're going to talk about the frat fall effect. And I probably, if it's not 100%, I'm mentioning wrong. Frat fall effect. What it is. You want to take it? You want me to take it? Really, I'm really tired. I don't know where my brain it is landing today.
Okay, it's when you can see when someone makes a mistake, you see it, you can change the way that you think about this person.
Be more
that's
human.
how you can be more human. So you can be okay. You remember what we talked with the lawyer? What was the name?
Lincoln Jesse.
Jesse. And when we talk about the heroes, but what happened with the heroes? You need to see them. You need to humanize them, and you need to see them like, okay, they make mistakes too, like me. So I can follow them because they are not too different. We can make mistakes. So that's the experiment.
So psychologist Elliot Aronson was trying to how you empathize and how you create empathy with others. And again, we have Dave Oates who talk about PR crisis management. If you can see the video last week, I think he was really clear. Yes. Neither of the team, but let's talk about how we move this about to be vulnerable and empathy with others. In Elaine's case, she was keep blaming the jurors. Like, really? By the way, we're in a show on Wednesday where Amber Heard says to the jurors, look on the media. Go and look on the media. She was ordering people to break what they stand for and go to the media to see for the case. Like, so Elaine, why are you claiming that the jurors work to the media when you asking to the jurors to go to the media? Get your BS together. So when she wasn't like, we didn't do any mistake, everybody makes mistake. When you didn't talk like we shouldn't have done things better, and bullet point the things that couldn't be better, and she kept demonizing Amber. She didn't help Amber. Amber went to do the interview, and again, how you not gonna blame the juror for believe a guy who make everybody believe that he have scissors for hands? Come on, honey.
Like, really?
And Elaine was blaming.
He's a better actor.
And Elaine was blaming the other side to not determine what is domestic violence. Again, we're talking about dictionary. If you grew up in a house, so you can understand what happened with neither of the team define what is violence. Deep team didn't define it because it was convenient for them. Amber Heard failed to define what a domestic abuse or abuse because they think everybody believe her. She's the face of domestic abuse. Nobody is going to contest what we say. If you grow in a house where one of your parents or somebody in your household was slamming cabinets, was slamming things, yelling and throwing things, but not hitting anyone, for you, domestic violence or violence is when somebody's head hit. If you grow up in a household where nobody raised their voice and nobody commit any violent act against things or people, as soon as you see somebody hitting a cabinet, for you is going to be an act of violence. So physical, emotional, physical violence are different. But why? Because we go into what is safe for us, how we grow up. People who grow on the street, people who grow in the foster system, people who grow with different parents and different style of families are going to be feeling more safe when it's near to them. So if either of them, Amber and Johnny, they were growing in any kind of type of violent, volatile or violent situation that apparently both did, not our show to go there, is only to make you understand what are the concepts who have to do with our dictionary. No, Camille neither was empath, neither left the suit of being a lawyer and connecting with the people saying, okay, if she wouldn't have the data knowing that women and men don't trust her, like her, whatever, and says, you know what, I be in the face of destroying the Me Too movement, without saying it, she couldn't have said it another way, saying, you know what, I think that the verdict helped everybody to understand what is the concept of violence. Now, it's not about gender. It can happen to everyone. You can be famous. You can be a lame person. You can be an extremely well professional seated in your place, but still you can suffer. They couldn't have used this to elevate what they needed to be destroyed. And let's be clear, needed to be either destroyed, punch, hit, smash, whatever you want to put it, out there regarding the things in order to get this trial won for your client. That was the opportunity for both lawyers to put it out there and help somebody else. Nobody did.
No, nobody did. Nobody did. And that's why we show you the data. That's why we show you what is out there, what people are really thinking. Because no, even, let's be honest. No, women don't like Camille, for example. And we thought like, yeah, she was the best. Yeah, she was good in what she was doing, but she never put, like you said, she never empathized of what was happening.
Nope. Huge mistake. And again, people is attacking Dave Oates for what he says in PR crisis management, PR shame. And the truth to be told, the message now need to be rebuilding. That's what we need to be doing. Rebuilding a movement that is true, it's real, and we need to keep it.
And like you said, it's not about the gender.
Nope.
It's about the human, like the human being, because yeah, it can happen to both sides.
Elba, how many cases we have worked with a man is accused to sexual harassment and we find out is the other way when we start analyzing the language and going through the depots. It's too bad that sometimes they bring us to those cases too late. But as soon as we says, okay, the first thing that we're going to see is the depot. The first thing that we're going to do is the testimony. And when we analyze the testimony, like, that smells weird. Can we redirect? Can we cross-examine this? Those are the questions we needed to do. And we are on the table or behind the fish tank. Fish tank is when you are behind the glass, listen to what the people have to say. And they prove like, well, maybe it was in sexual harassment with something else. And sometimes we have cases when women attack us because we're too female. But the truth to be told, I don't care what is the gender. We care about the truth.
Yes.
And the truth to be told is if you want to have your intro to face reading profiling and you are not ready yet to commit to the 6-month classes, 2 years coaching, you can do face reading profiling 10 features in 10 days. And the good news is maybe I get confused with the 80% because 80% of the students who have done 10 features in 10 days has moved to the Pro program. It's amazing to see the guys and ladies move to one program to another. This is 10 days, 10 features in 10 days during 2 weeks around because it's a little more than 10 days. You're going to learn the basics of face reading, how to read everyone in 90 seconds. You want to know more? You want to make a discovery call to see what is the program working with you? Go below. Next week, we're going to be launching 2 new beta classes, and we're going to be launching a challenge to see if you can learn face reading in 7 days, but you're not going to be talking about that yet. Elba, I'm sure you and I will get in so much trouble this week because people is going to attack what we says, but not going to pay attention what we say. And so if they're going to punch you first, where they need to go?
You need to go to humanbehaviorlab.com. And for you, Susan.
I'm sure I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. You can go to Susan at humanbehaviorlab.com. And thank you very much. You know who you are. My throat's killing me. I have somebody who contacted me on LinkedIn and says, hey, Susan, I'm changing careers. I'm going to go from military to civilian life, and says, is any way we can talk? I would like to know more how to do it. I send in my calendar, and when he show up, I'm like, it's you. No, your assistant. Like, no, it's me. I reply all my emails, guys. I do that. Obviously, if it's a crazy, like, hey, I want to date you, or I want to know who, no. There need to be a consistency on the way you ask for the meetings. But Elba and I, we always reply to our emails, and it is a pleasure. Even though nothing happened during the meeting, is know who our audience are. Okay, guys, today it's been one of those shows that is showing you a lot about what we do behind the scenes. When we have a political campaign, when we have a trial, when we have somebody to prepare to Shark Tank, now we're going to have the testimonial. We coach it, the faster Shark Tank deal on the history of Shark Tank. 7 minutes, she have the offer she won. And we went through one specific shark, and we profile him, we profile her, we prepare how to do it. It was a great experience beside another Shark Tank that we have done, but that's the one we're more proud about it. You need to know how people perceive you. I can like you for many reasons, but doesn't mean that people perceive you the same way. So you need to use signs. You need to know who you listen to. You need to understand that because everybody says that it need to be that way, you need to keep following. We can go to the history. We can go to books. We can know what happened in geopolitical economics and situation. People were following the wrong person. But you can be the person who break the chain and start believing in what your thoughts. So between what people say on the media and what happened when you put the pillow on the head is completely different. Now, in a personal level, I think that if we can take anything positive during what happened with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, and I hope the press conference of Amber is the last thing that we cover, because I cannot deal with this anymore. Violence has to do with your own dictionary, doesn't mean need to be accepted, and violence has to do no with gender. It has to do with violence per se. If you are the victim, or you know anybody who can be a victim to any kind of violence, because the psychological and emotional cannot be shown as scars, go and talk to. What they say about if you don't have evidence, if you don't have video, nobody gonna believe you, that is horrifying. I almost throw up in my mouth when I hear Elaine saying that now if you don't have a way to prove it, it's not going to happen. Scaring people to speak out is not a professional way. I haven't talked about personally about any of these lawyers. I don't care, really, absolutely, I don't care about you. But scaring women out there to speak out if they don't have video, or gender in general gender. In this case, she was talking to women, but it's about know your gender, is about what is your story. That is despicable. Elaine, you should be ashamed of yourself. And this is Susan Ibitz saying it. Elba?
Yeah, I agree with you. And like Emily the Baker said, Elaine. So yeah, I say the same, because you need to be aware of what you're saying, because there's a lot of people, even in Latin America, we had a lot of people here, a lot of women, a lot of men having the same thing, violence. So I think it's not about the gender, it's about that you need to speak. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, you need to speak out. You need to say it. And you don't need to have the proofs, the video and the things, because you are really, you are a proof of what is happening. So yeah, I agree with that.
Well, next show is going to be funnier, because we're going to be like talking BS about the interview. Like, oh my God, we're not going to analyze all the interview, because really, seriously, I wish she haven't done it. But we're going to talk about the ratings. Lowest rating on the season of the show, lowest rating since November. But guess what? one of the biggest show hits online with criticism and commentary. People don't believe the normal media anymore, but we're going to talk about the next show. Love, see you guys. See you next show. I don't even know what it's going to be.